The distress beacon cut through subspace like a knife through silk. Captain Zilthar of the Vereen Consortium vessel. Gentle Mercy had activated it with trembling appendages, watching helplessly as the Craxian pirates tore through their cargo bay. His crew of 47 huddled in the bridge, their bioluminescent skin flickering with terror. "Response incoming," the communications officer whispered, her voice barely audible above the sound of hull breaches below. "Signature unknown. Not consortium." Zilthar's 3 hearts sank simultaneously. Unknown meant variables. Variables meant danger. In the outer reaches, danger usually meant death. Distance? He managed. 17 minutes at current velocity. Captain, they're moving impossibly fast. The Craxians had breached the secondary bulkhead now. Zilthar could hear their chittering laughter echoing through the ship's ventilation systems. His people were pacifists, traitors who had never fired a weapon in anger. The Craxians knew this. Everyone knew this. "All hands prepare for potential boarding by unknown vessels," Zilthar announced, his voice steadier than he felt. "Seal environmental suits. If they're hostile, we may need to evacuate." 12 minutes later, the sensor officer made a sound that Zilthar had never heard before, a keen of pure, primal fear. "Captain." "The signatures. They're from Earth." The bridge fell silent. Even the sounds of destruction from below seemed to pause. Earth, the death world. Home to the humans. Every species in the Galactic Council knew about Earth. It was classified as a Class 12 death world, a designation reserved for planets so violently hostile that the evolution of sentient life should have been statistically impossible. Gravity that would crush most species, atmospheric oxygen levels that were practically flammable, weather systems that could level cities, predators at every level of the food chain. And the humans, the humans were the worst of it all. They were pursuit predators who could run their prey to exhaustion. They could survive injuries that would kill any other species. They ate poison for pleasure and called it spicy food. Their bodies produced a bonding chemical with other species that made them form emotional attachments to anything, even creatures that could kill them. Most terrifying of all, they had looked at their nightmarish world and decided it wasn't challenging enough, so they'd gone to space. "Incoming transmission," the communications officer stammered. "Put it through." The voice that crackled through the speakers was rough, like gravel sliding down a metal chute. "Unidentified vessel, this is Captain Maria Rodriguez of the UTCN Indomitable. We received your distress call. Sit tight. Cavalry's here." Before Zilthar could respond, the entire ship shuddered. The sounds of destruction from below suddenly stopped, replaced by something worse, screaming. "Craxian screaming. What's happening?" Zilthar demanded. The sensor officer's appendages shook as she read the data. They boarded. "The humans boarded our ship. Captain, they didn't use an airlock. They cut directly through the hull into the cargo bay where the Craxians were. In vacuum. Their suits are rated for combat in vacuum, extreme temperatures, and..." She paused, rechecking her readings. "And they're carrying kinetic weapons, projectile weapons that fire metal slugs using chemical explosions." Zilthar felt faint. Projectile weapons were considered primitive, barbaric. They were also incredibly dangerous on a pressurized spacecraft. One stray shot could breach a hull. The humans apparently didn't care. The screaming stopped. 5 minutes later, Zilthar's bridge door slid open. He turned, preparing to meet his end with dignity. A human stood in the doorway. She was tall. They were always tall, encased in armor that looked like it could withstand a plasma cannon. Her helmet retracted, revealing a scarred face with predatory eyes that sat forward on her skull. Evolved for tracking prey, she smiled, revealing flat teeth except for prominent canines. "Captain Zilthar? Captain Rodriguez, your ship is secure. The Craxians? Detained. We've secured them in your secondary cargo bay. They'll stand trial according to galactic law." She paused. The ones who survived anyway. Zilthar's bioluminescence flickered through 17 different colors of shock. "You saved us. Well, yeah. You sent a distress call." Rodriguez looked genuinely confused by his surprise. "That's what we do, but we're not allies. Our people have no treaty with Earth. We've actually voted against several human proposals in the Council. We called your species dangerous and unstable just last cycle." Rodriguez laughed, another unsettling human behavior showing teeth during moments of non-aggression. Look, Captain, we've got a saying back home. The only thing necessary for evil to triumph is for good people to do nothing. You needed help. We could provide it. Politics doesn't factor into that equation. Your crew could have been killed. Could have been. She shrugged. An alien gesture that Zilthar had learned meant dismissal of concern. But we're pretty hard to kill. Comes with the territory when your home planet spends every day trying to murder you. Over the next hour, Zilthar watched in amazement as the human crew worked. They were efficient, professional, and shockingly gentle with his people. When young Prilix went into shock, a human medic, a male with skin darker than space itself, sat with her for 20 minutes, speaking softly and projecting what humans called calm. It shouldn't have worked across species. It did anyway. As the human fleet prepared to depart, leaving a security detail until consortium vessels arrived, Rodriguez returned to the bridge. Captain, one more thing. We're going to recommend to the Council that trade routes in this sector get better patrol coverage. Can't have pirates thinking they can operate freely. You would advocate for us, after how we've treated your people. Rodriguez's expression became serious, those predator eyes locking onto his. Captain, here's the thing about humans. We remember who our enemies are, sure. But we also remember who needed help. You needed us today and we came. Maybe next time the Council votes on one of our proposals, you'll remember that too. Or maybe you won't. Either way, we'll still come if you call. She turned to leave, then paused. Oh, and Captain? We prefer Earthers or humans. Deathworlders makes us sound way more dramatic than we actually are. Zilthar watched through the viewport as the human fleet jumped to FTL, their drives tearing through space-time with casual disregard for what should be possible. He had sent a distress call hoping for friends. Instead, he had been saved by Deathworlders, and somehow that might have been better.